guys, Casual Movie Guy back here, and today I am talking about Hot Pursuit. So, Hot Pursuit, if you don't know and haven't seen the trailers, is basically Reese Witherspoon plays a straight-by-the-numbers kind of cop. She talks like a robot, she does everything like you're supposed to, and you have Sofia Vergara's character, who is the wife of a guy who does all the finances for the leader of the cartel, and he's supposed to testify against this guy, and her, Reese Witherspoon and this other cop, they go to their house and try to, safely transport them to where they need to go so that they can kind of testify, do all that nonsense. And something happens, stuff goes wrong, and for the rest of the movie we follow Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara on their, I guess you could call it an adventure or whatever. Honestly, I'm going to tell you guys, this is one of the worst movies I have seen in a long, long time. Definitely look for this movie on my top 10 worst movies of the year list, because this movie is a huge pile of garbage. It's think about it this way. I'm going to try to describe it to you guys. Imagine sitting there for whatever amount of time this movie is for, let's say an hour and a half. Imagine sitting there for an hour and a half following around two extremely unlikable characters with annoying voices. That's another side note. Sofia Vergara, I understand. I'm not a huge fan of her voice. But she has an accent. You can't change that. But in this movie, it's way too overdone. You can tell she's trying too hard to make the accent sound funny, but it's just not. And I was like, okay, at least I understand that, but at least Reese Witherspoon, she has a nice, normal voice, and it's not going to be too annoying. But no, she has a very, very shitty southern accent, and it is really, really annoying. It's so annoying that I thought about leaving. I've never walked out of a movie before because I feel like I owe it to the movie to give it the full, viewing, and I almost walked out of this movie. That's how bad this movie is. It's just, I really like Reese Witherspoon. I loved her in Wild, and that was an Oscar-worthy performance right there. But how does she go from that to this? It's just, this is probably the worst performance I've ever seen Reese Witherspoon give. And it's just, you follow these two highly unlikable characters around throughout the entire movie with really awful attempts at comedy, and it's just, every joke that they try, it just falls flat completely. I didn't laugh once during this movie. I didn't chuckle at all. It just, nobody in my theater even laughed, and I saw this movie on a Friday, and nobody in the theater laughed. There was quite a bit of people in there, and nobody laughed at all. That is a problem in a comedy. At least if a movie isn't a well-made film and it's a comedy, you expect it to be funny. Like Get Hard, for example. Not a very well-made film, but at least there were times in that movie where I had a good time and I laughed. This movie just dragged on. I don't even know how long it was, but it's probably not that long, but it felt like 5 hours because it's so painful to watch. I don't know what the director was trying to go for with this movie. It was a very, very poor attempt at a cop comedy, and I don't know what to say about this movie. The performances were awful, the directing was awful, the writing was... This is some of the worst writing I've seen ever. And I strongly recommend that you don't see this movie at all. Ever. Don't rent it. Don't go out in the theater to see it. Even if you want to, pirate it off the internet, don't. Because it's a waste of your time. Time is precious, and don't waste it on this piece of trash. I'm going to give this movie, I'll give it a 1 out of 11. I'll give it that 1 point because I think that Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara are attractive. I know. It's a dumb thing to say, but I'm just trying to think of any reason to give this movie anything but a 0. So there, I'll give it a 1 out of 11 for using very attractive actresses. Other than that, awful performances, awful writing, awful directing, nothing is good about this movie. I'm the Casual Movie Guy, and if you want to hear more from me, you should definitely check out some of my other videos. If you like videos like this where I rant about movies, I suggest checking out my 50 Shades of Grey review. Other than that, there's nothing else I can say. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, check out some of the other videos. I know you want to, and I'm out.